Hello out there, everyone. How's everyone doing? I want to say happy Monday to you. Also, happy first day of fall. Well, I know it's not the first day of fall. It hasn't felt like the first day of fall. It's been hot, but yesterday got a storm come through and it got a little cooler. But the first day of fall is on the 23rd, I believe. But thank God for some cooler weather here in Texas. But happy Monday to you all today. Want to say welcome to another Creators Juice show on the 24-hour Boss channel. Want to say welcome to all of you that are going to be joining us and that are joining us. Appreciate you all joining us. Of course, this is the channel that is tailored for content creators. Those of you out there who are new to content creation, this is the channel for you. And this is the show for you. And we have a great show and a great, amazing guest that is going to be joining us and sharing her expertise. Oh my goodness, this lady has so much experience and so much knowledge. She is definitely a gem and has the jewels and all of the information tonight. I want to say welcome to all of you that are joining us. If this is your first time here, I want to ask you to like this video wherever you're at. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, like the video. Also share it. If you're not a subscriber or a follower to our channel, go ahead and follow and also subscribe. We're on Facebook and YouTube, also on Instagram. But of course, we go live on Facebook and YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Definitely appreciate you in advance for all of your support. I want to say welcome again to you. Happy Monday. We got a great show lined up for you. I do have some information to share for those of you who may be interested. Hey there, Miss Shay. How are you? Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate you being here. And have some information to share for those that may be interested. I've had a few asks, but I'm going to share it. So, for those that may be interested, so I'm going to soon be conducting some Canva courses. And so, for those of you who may be interested, I'm going to be conducting some Canva courses. Uh, this one here that I have on the screen, this is a Canva basic course, just kind of going over Canva, layout, user interface, help you understand Canva, all that kind of stuff. That's a Canva basics course. And also, I'm going to have a Canva one-on-one course where I help you individually. It's kind of a focus course just for one-on-one interaction and learning. And so I'm going to be doing that real soon. So if that's something that you are interested in, maybe you're new to Canva, or maybe you don't even know what Canva is, but Canva is amazing. But actually, we need to see what my guest is going to have to say about Canva because she's a graphic designer. So we'll see what she has to say about Canva. But for those of you that may be interested, I'm going to be having some courses that you can learn, and I'll be teaching it. So I'm going to provide this link in the chat. So if you want to, if that's something that you're interested in, or maybe you know somebody that's in there, you can share this link with them. And there's an email sign up. So just sign up and you'll be able to. I'll get that information to you when those courses will start. So there's the link in the description or in the chat. So for those that are interested in taking the Canva course, a Canva basics and a Canva one-on-one course, you want to learn some things in Canva, there's the link there in the chat. So you'll be able to sign up. And once those courses are available and the information, then I'll be able to send you that information. So just sign up, and then I'll get with you in regards to that. All right, so that's enough of that. Now let's get to what we're all here for. All right, so I'm gonna get ready to bring on my guest. So my guest she is a web and a graphic designer. She has over 20 years experience in web design, graphic design, and branding. So she has quite a bit. She even does illustrations. She does custom web designs. I mean, she is very knowledgeable and has a ton of experience. She's also the owner of um where is that? She's also the the owner of K Designs. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. She's also the owner of K Designs, and she creates websites and web designs. But she has a ton of information and a ton of knowledge when it comes to web design and graphic design. So I'm going to get ready to bring her on and welcome her to the 24-hour Boss Creators Juice Show, Miss LaKisha Walton. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay. I'm good.
You
How are
good?
you?
I'm well. I want to say thank you for joining me on tonight. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. And so we're just going to go ahead and get ready to get started here. Like I said, she's very experienced. So for those that may have questions, maybe you need a website, or maybe you don't even know the first thing about websites. LaKisha is the person for you. But if you do have questions for her, I advise you to go ahead and put them in the chat, and we'll try to get to those questions. But Miss LaKisha, so for all of those who may not know you, just to get things started, tell us a fun fact about yourself.
Um, a fun fact about me is that I enjoy logic puzzles. I enjoy
Logic
working
puzzles.
puzzles, like 1,000+ piece puzzles. I could do it like constantly all day, and brain teasers. So
Really?
that's
So you
one
just
of
a
my.
you just a walking brain then. That's what it
Well,
sounds like.
now I don't. I wouldn't say that, but I do enjoy that.
Okay.
I just love it. It's comfortable for me.
Okay. Well, hey, that's amazing. That's good. I didn't know that. I'm sure a lot of other people didn't know that, but that explains a lot of your knowledge and intelligence that you have. So wonderful. Awesome. All right. So Miss LaKisha, so how did you get started in web design? Or what inspired you to, like, pursue this as a career? Because like I was telling you, before we got started, of course we know a lot of women are not in tech, but what encouraged you? How did you get started in web design?
So it's kind of a backstory.
Okay, sure.
So I did not start out in this. Really wasn't didn't know much about it. I did grow up loving computers, and I like to design things on the computer, PowerPoints. Just playing around when I was a little girl, kind of high school freshman, uh, that era, and I would always do the family calendar every year. We would give the family calendar out, and I would design the little cover. We sent them out at Christmas. Family always loved it. Always gave me compliments on it. So that's what kind of propelled the graphic design portion of it, which is what I started in first. And so,
Okay.
just playing around, with the computers and doing things like that. But when I graduated, I didn't really have. I knew I liked computers. Didn't really know much about graphic design or the field of graphic design. This was back in '97. So when I graduated, I decided to go to school for computer science, which is for programming.
Mm,
Um, so that was a whole, v- much, a lot of learning,
yes.
um, very different, because if programming, you have to really, really have patience.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
so I did graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, so I have that degree. Um, but
Wow.
when I graduated in 2001, I could not find a job. So I have
Uh-oh.
a bachelor's degree, computer science, fresh out of college, cannot find a job. And so I began to, I think I started working at Foley's. Okay. And then, so here I am. Of course, felt a way about that. Here I am.
With a
Yeah,
degree
my
and working
bachelor's
at
degree, and I'm
Foley's.
in Foley's. But
Hey.
as I look back, I see how God was kind of orchestrating everything. So
Oh,
at
yeah.
Foley's, working there, just trying to until I could find my dream job. And one night, this lady came in and she asked me, she said, "Do you like working here?" And I was like, I didn't want to say no, how you just kind of, so I just like, it's okay. So she handed me her business card and she said, well, if you want, if you want a different job, let me call me. And
Hmm.
so when I looked at her card, she was the VP of Bank One. Back
Oh.
it's Chase now, but it was Bank One back then. And so I called her. We
Mm.
talked. She offered me a job to be a teller. Okay,
Mm.
so making more money. So
Yeah.
now I'm a teller, uh,
Mm.
and
Still not in IT.
still not in nowhere near where I thought I was going to be. So, but now I'm a teller. I worked there for a couple of years. Then I got married, and when we got married, we moved to Las Colinas. So I needed it was a drive coming to Pleasant Grove from Las Colinas every day. So I was trying to find somewhere closer to Las Colinas, and situations happened to where I was able to because I had the teller experience. I saw that Credit Union of Texas had an opening. So I was, and it was one close to my house. So I applied for there, had an interview. They said, well, we don't have a job for a teller, but we do think you'll be a good fit for the corporate office. So she gave me the information for that. Went to the interview, got hired on the spot. Still not in where I nowhere near where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And so
Mm-hmm.
when I was there, I was working in a leasing department. So we were doing little, scanning papers, doing different things. And then, but I noticed that in the department, they would send out a newsletter, like a company newsletter. And I was looking at it, I was like, I could do stuff like this. And so my husband, he's always pushing me to do, because I'm very introverted. Um, and he's always pushing me. We're totally opposite. He's always pushing me to kind of get out of my shell. And I
Yes.
kind of fight against it a lot. But he was like, well, why don't you ask them, do they have a position? And so I was like, oh my goodness. So I called down to that department and asked them, did they have a position, or did they have anything that I could do? She said, well, there's no position open because there's only one lady that works this, and there's not really a position open. So I was like, okay, well, they said there's no position open. Let's leave it at that. Well, my husband was like, well, no, why don't you just say I can offer my services. If y'all need help, I could help y'all. So again, me being my introverted self did not want to do that, but I did it anyway, reluctantly. And I was like, well, I can offer my services. If you all, need help, I can help. So it was kind of like my way of getting in the door. So she's like, well, that would be great. So she sent me a few little things to design, and they loved it. Um, and so from there, she contacted me and she said, I don't have a position for you, but we love your work. We love what you do. So I am going to create a position for you.
Mm.
Um, and it's going to be called the Creative Design Specialist.
Oh.
So they created a position for me. She said, "Well, we have to if we're on corporate, so we have to open it up to everybody before we can give it to you. We have to allow other people to interview." So I was nervous about that too because I was like, "Oh my goodness, what if somebody else interviews and they're better than me and all this kind of stuff?" But anyway, I eventually got the job, so I was making more money than the girl that was there, and I was able to do what I love to do, which was right at that moment. It was just designing things for the corporate, the mailers, the little mailing things that go out in the mail, and the newsletters and different things like that. So it was kind of, repeat, 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 you know. And so from there, um, that's kind of where it began. I had ended up expecting with my first child.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time August, when she was due in August, and by that time, we had already discussed that we wanted me to be at home, with the baby and everything like that. And so once again, I was just gonna do I was just gonna leave. But my husband was like, well, why don't you ask them if you could work for them contract? And I was like, oh my gosh, I was kind of nervous about doing that. So I was like, well, let me ask her. So I said, well, since I want to work from home, would you all consider hiring me on as a contractor, and I contract the work out since I'm doing this work? And they loved the idea. She told me to put together the package, and then we did the package and put together the cost or whatever. So they became kind of like my first client, my first residual income. And so I'm at home now working, got a little steady income with them. And then from then on, it just kind of blew up. I had to I had to like make my company real. So I began to get all that stuff situated, and that's the
Hmm.
birth of K Design. So, and
Really?
again, this is just graphics. So a little on down the line, I began to see that people needed websites. So I began to try to learn how to do websites, and so that's how I got into web design. I began. It was just I self.
Hmm.
I was self-taught. I did not go to school for any of this, other than the computer science or the programming that I learned years and years ago. So I
Really?
had some knowledge of it, but it was so long ago that a lot of it was outdated. So a lot of the things that I know now is self-taught, and that's how I got into this. Word of mouth, this travel, my clientele built, got more and more clients, word of mouth, and it just grew from there.
Wow.
That's
So
how I got into
you are self-taught web designer.
it. Self-taught.
Wow, I did not know that. So you got a
Yes.
bachelor's degree, and life
hmm
happened. You working at Foley's.
Yes.
Then you still not using that degree. You're a teller, but from there it goes to you kind of inquiring, and you work getting on the creative design team. I think is what you called it, or what they
hmm
called it.
Yes.
And you started doing contract, and from there you started learning how to do web design. So was this? I'm trying to think. Like this is oh, because I don't know what was out at that time when you were learning web design, but I guess I don't know what program were you like?
At that time, I was learning Dreamweaver.
Oh, Dreamweaver, yes.
I know it's
Okay,
still, it's still in existence, but
right.
that
It's under
was,
Adobe
what
now,
I was
right?
trying to teach myself back then.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Self-taught. Man, that's crazy. That you're self-taught. All of this knowledge, self-taught. Okay, well, wonderful. Okay, so that's how you got started in that. All right. So so you are I know you said so this is how the start of it or your business how it got started. So when did it like become official like okay, I'm going to turn this into a business now?
Okay, so well, that was when I had already kind of been just playing around with stuff. It wasn't real. I had come up with a name and just toying around with things, and I
Mhm.
just come up with a K Designs, Keisha's Designs, creative not with a K design, just playing around with things. But then once I became contract, I knew I needed to have like a business. So
Right.
that's when I had to get everything kind of solidified. I went downtown, registered my business name, got my business name
Right.
registered, kind of put everything in order so that I could have a bank account and different things and do things through my business. So uh, that was back in 2016, 16,
Okay.
16, 17, that era.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Awesome. All right. And so now, of course, like we were talking, you got 20 plus years of experience. And just imagine had you given up because you're working at Foley's.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be something. That would be something. I guess that just goes to show, sometimes people think when one door shuts, that's it. But of course,
Right.
as you can see, it's like
hmm
sometimes those are the things that actually get you to where you need to go.
Exactly. When I
And
look back on that, I just see how it was all playing out,
mhm.
to lead me to where I am right now.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So let's talk some web design. Okay. So when it comes to branding, why is a website one of the most important pieces that someone needs to have?
So I always tell clients that people, people need to know where you are, what you do. They need to be able to visit your site. They need to be able to learn about your information without you being around. And a website is kind of like a 24-hour. It's open all day long,
Mm,
and it's never closed. You have complete control over it. So that's why I encourage a website. A lot of times that people that are starting out, they may not be able to afford a website, or they may
mhm.
uh, just try to do things on their own. It's okay to start out with social media and having a Facebook page and an Instagram page, but if you stay there, you're kind of dependent on their algorithms,
Mhm.
and they kind of control what people see.
That's right.
When you have your site, you're in complete control over what people see. All of your stuff is going to always be on there as long as your site is up. So I definitely encourage having a website. Is very, very important, especially because it establishes you as a professional.
There you go.
So if you're serious about your business, you definitely want people to see you as a professional, not as just some random person. But that just kind of establishes you as a professional.
Yes. Wow. Those are important points why you need a website. And that's true because in regards to like the social sites, those are great to have, but like you said, they control the algorithm. And if they shut your channel down, if they shut your page down, you in trouble,
Yep,
you know.
yep.
And so that is very important to have that website. All right. So can you help educate us on like important elements to consider like for a website? Like some people they may not know, I don't know, they may not even know what a domain is, but can you help tell us maybe some important elements to consider for a website?
Okay, some things that you want to consider. You definitely you're going to have hosting, and hosting is where your site will live. You Of course you're going to have a domain name. Domain is basically the address to get to your site. So it could be a www.yourbusiness.com. Um, you definitely want to have. I tell people all the time, uh, just having a website is not. Um, Effective if you don't have a way to track your visitors. So you definitely want to have some form of tracking on there. I usually use Google Analytics because you need to know who's coming to your website. You need to know what's happening, because if people are coming but they're not doing certain things, you need to know why that's happening. I always encourage a some kind of lead generation. Okay, because
Hmm.
everybody that comes to your website, they may not get your services right away. But if you have some kind of way to capture that lead or to capture their information, you have a way to communicate back with them. And it's almost like somebody calling your phone and you don't have a voicemail set up, and you miss the
Mm.
call, so you never, you don't know who they are, they never call back. So you want to have a way to reach back out to them even though they don't get your services now. So that some kind of lead generation form that will collect their email addresses. You also want to have some call to actions on there. What do you want them to do? Is it something that you want them to give them in exchange for their information? Maybe it's a download, maybe it's some tips or things like that. Um, you also want to make sure your branding is very clear. There's some things that you want to consider when you have a website. Clear branding, make sure it's nice and consistent, because that also makes you look professional. You want to make sure that you have an about page.
Mm.
And this basically the things that you have on your website is really contingent on what type of website that what's the purpose of your website.
Hmm.
So if it's a e-commerce and you want people to buy things, then of course you need to have an SSL certificate. Well, you need to have that regardless, because people need to know that your site is safe when they go
Hmm.
to it. So you definitely want to have an SSL certificate, and that can be you can get that through your hosts. And so your hosting service should be able to provide you with all of that information. um, Other things that you should consider when you have a website is to make sure that it is mobile friendly.
Mm.
Make sure it's responsive, that I can view it on a cell phone, iPad, any kind of device, because that's also helpful. You want to have some contact information, contact page, maybe some testimonials to kind of help uh, build that trust with your visitors. I think. Oh, and also definitely content that is compelling. Because you want
Mm.
your users to stay on your site. And then I know we're going to get. I think there's something about SEO, but
Yes.
that helps with SEO, and it
Hmm.
helps with the Google rankings if you have content on your site that makes people want to stay on there and read it.
Yeah. Wow. That is that is quite a bit of information,
I'm
Keisha.
sorry. I mean, I didn't want to like do information overload,
No,
but
but no, that was clear to the point. And those are all important things that we need for websites. Of course, you got to have, like you said, a domain, which is the address, how people find you, the hosting, where it's going to live. You said tracking, you said lead generation, and then I like which was a very important point. Every site is not the same. E-commerce is not going to be the same as maybe like a blog site or
Mhm.
something like that. So I guess it just depends on what type of site that people have. Their site needs to be based on that. Okay, so you did mention SEO. So for those maybe who don't know, what is SEO?
Okay, so SEO stands for search engine optimization, and this is it's basically the things that you do to your website to make it visible in the search engines. Okay, there's a lot of things that you could do to become like when you do a search. Some people you'll see them at the top of the search engine. Well, SEO is what you do to your site to help get you to the top of the search engines. And so there are a lot of things that you could do on the back end. There's also things that you could do um, just as a business owner. One thing, like I mentioned, is to have content that is, good content, updated content constantly. Because if Google sees that people like coming to your website, then they automatically start boosting you up. And then that's kind of like it's a free version of getting up there. A lot of people, a lot of big companies, they pay for that top ranking spot, lots of money to try to be number one. But to do it for free, I would just say good content. Um, your web designer should know also on the back end some things that you would do, like giving your image the right descriptions and the right tags so that
Mm,
the search engine know how to pull them up. And then also, um, this is a lot of business owners, when they write content for their website, you have to make sure that your content includes keywords that are specific to what your target audience would type in. Okay. So for instance, my target audience would probably type in web design or branding in Dallas or something like that. So these are different things that you want to have embedded in your text. So
mm-hmm.
if you're just, you don't just write text for your website. You have to really be strategic about that. They have lots of different tools that allow you to find keywords that are specific to your company, that are popular, that you can interject into your content. That when that person types in that keyword, your site is one of the sites that's pulled up. Okay. Another thing that helps that ranking is, again, responsive websites, because Google kind of puts that at the top of the list. That's one of the main things that they look at, because the main goal is user satisfaction. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if a user comes to your site, because a lot of times people are not on the computers, they're on their mobile
On their
devices.
phones.
And if they get to your site and they can't really see the screen because you haven't structured it for mobile, they're gonna leave. You
Yeah,
know, and to not get too technical, um,
that's
that
good
goes into
information.
your bounce rate, because you don't want people to just get to your site, see one thing, and then just bounce. Because if that keeps happening, Google will start just, you'll just go further and further down on the rankings. So good content, that's what search engine optimization is. Make sure your site loads fast. All of this helps with that SEO, um, to help
Wow.
you get really high up in the
Mm.
rankings.
Man, that is some important key information that you're dropping. And wow, that is good. And I got a question for you in regard to something you said, but I want to mention to those that are watching, we're talking to LaKisha Walton of K Designs. She is the owner of K Designs. She is a web designer and graphic designer as well, with over 20 years of experience. And of course, she's given us great information in regards to important elements for a website. And I also want to say that if you are watching and you're not a subscriber, subscribe to the channel. For some reason, our Facebook Live is not active at the time. I just found out, but we're not live on Facebook. We're supposed to be live on Facebook. For some reason, it's not showing. So I did share on Facebook to go to our YouTube channel for those that are watching. But Keisha, I had a question for you. So you mentioned that the sites need to be mobile friendly. I just wanted to piggyback back on that because, like you said, more people are using their phones now to visit sites. I mean, we do everything on our phones, so a website needs to be mobile friendly to where you can look at the same site on the computer as you do on the website.
Mm-hmm.
And also in regards to content and keywords. So I want to ask you because you're a web designer. So in regards to all of that content, does a person do they bring you all of that content, like they type it up and give it to you, or do you actually provide the content for this site? How does that work? Like in regards for you, how does that work? How does that process work?
So a lot of times, once again, I a lot of times my clients are just they just hand off. They don't want to
Hmm.
have anything to do with it. They don't really know, But I do have some that will write their content. I would just kind of tell them, hey, these are the keywords. You want to make sure that you're putting this into your content. Make sure you're saying this, word it naturally. Don't try to overdo it and just keep saying certain things over and over and over and over and over
Yeah,
because they will
cookies.
rob
Keep
you for
saying
that
cookies.
too.
I'm a baker.
Right.
Cookies, cookies, cookies.
So, but yes, I do offer copywriting services.
Really? Hmm.
And I do have I partner with other copywriters that will that help me, offer those services, and we search we do the research on the keywords that are specific to your niche, and then we will write the copy around those keywords.
Hmm. Wow. Okay, man, that's good to know because I didn't know. I didn't know if you do that, but man, you sound like a one shop stop there
And I
with
try to
your.
be,
No,
try
no,
to
no.
just, you don't have to
No,
go
but
everywhere.
that's good information because a lot of times, like we'll say, "Oh yeah, I need a website," but we don't realize that a website has to have information on it. So who's gonna type that or who's gonna put that
Mhm.
information on there, and that could be a lot. And like you said, uh, websites you got to have an about page, you need a contact page, you need a home page, and you need, of course, what you do, and it needs to be user friendly, all of that type of stuff. So there's a lot that goes into it. So that's good to know, though, that you offer those copyright services, or you also suggest those keywords that people need for their websites. Okay, so you kind of talked about this. So user interface, because I know you're a graphic designer, user interface and the user experience. And you mentioned it just a few minutes ago. If the site don't look right, people will just come and they out. So how do you approach that? Like when you're creating a site for somebody or a website for somebody, how do you approach that? And how do you help your clients to like make this a user-friendly site?
So very important. It's all about the user. Um, so the way I approach it is definitely doing research on your target audience. This is interviews, getting the surveys, finding out about your target audience. What are their pain points? What are the things that they like? What are the things that they need? And when you have that information, it helps you to create a site that that is for easy for them to use. So we do research. We research the target audience, and then we create what's called user personas. And this is just kind of like a imaginary user that would go to your site, and it kind of gives a description of what type all the types of users, and you could have several types of users, so we'll have different types of personas that we'll look at, and so that when we were designing your site we know that we could do a user flows. So if it's this type of person, their pain point is this, we need to make sure that
Hmm.
they can access this quickly. This person is a mom, this person is on the go, we need to make sure that the button is in the right place. They don't need to try to search for it, they don't need to try to figure out, okay, where do I go for this? Where do I go for that? And so after we do those that research and interviewing your well, really researching your target audience, we come up with a plan and an objective for your site. So what do you want users to do when they come here? What is the end goal? Okay.
Hmm.
Do you want them to buy something? Do you want them to just get information? Do you want them to, what do you want to do? Are you just getting leads? So this helps tailor that content so we know exactly how to design the site to make sure that it's easy to access for the users. They can navigate it very easily without confusion. And then, of course, testing. We have to do the testing, because just because we think something works, because we build it, we know where everything is. But if somebody were to come in that knows nothing about it, could they find the buy button, or could they make it to the shop page without confusion? If
Hmm.
there is confusion, we know we have more work to do. We've got to go and make those you know change something up. Maybe we need to make a button bigger. We need to make it smaller. So it I mean, you have different types. You have elderly people, you have people with disabilities, you have so many different types of users. We have to make sure that they're all accounted for, and
Hmm.
that's what the user interface and the user experience. That's where that comes in, and that's how we kind of tackle that
Mm.
to give
So
you a really good site.
yeah. So
And
you
it's not
said
just pretty, but it's
it.
effective.
Right. So if they want to make money, you able to help them to make a sale.
Yes, if we and like I said, it's a iteration,
Hmm.
because with the Google Analytics, that's why I say it's so important. You know, we have to know what our users are doing. So if I see on the analytics that people are dropping off, I have to go in there and figure out why are they dropping off? Did they not make it to the shop page? So we go back in and we make changes, you know, until we can get it to where people are reaching the goal that we had set for our site. So if it was to have people make a purchase, it could be the fact that the maybe it's images that you need to update, or maybe it's the way you're wording your descriptions, or maybe we just have to find ways to solve those problems.
Yeah.
So yes.
So you mentioned that y'all go back in and look at the analytics. So that's something that you do, or is that part of the services that you offer? Like after you built this site for your client, then you go back and look at the analytics afterwards to
So
see.
that is, now I do put the analytics on the user site. Now that's, if they don't, I do offer maintenance services where I
Mhm.
will go in, I will make sure your site is maintained, make sure that it's constantly working and it's working well, and we monitor that if you're getting our maintenance service. But if you're just on your own and you say, well, I don't want the maintenance service, you still have access to it, to view it. But you just have to make sure you understand what you're looking at. And we do try to school our clients, and just, kind of tell them, hey, you want to make sure, here's access to this. Because some of them are kind of hands on and they want to kind of do
Mhm.
things on their own. But then there's a lot of them that just like, I have no clue what I'm doing. I just want you to just do everything. So we do offer that
Wow,
maintenance service.
that is good and that's awesome. That you offer that service because, like I said, some people they rather not do it, and some people are hands on. Some people they don't need to touch it because they may break their site. So
Right. Yes.
we don't want them to break the site.
Yes.
We don't want to break the site. Okay. So I want to go back to a question because I asked you this beforehand, and we talked about this on another show. But I want to ask you about imposter syndrome because, like I asked you, I was asking you behind before we started. Of course, you're a woman, and I know you're totally capable. I mean, you're very intelligent. I mean, after hearing this conversation, I'm sure a lot of us is saying, "I have no clue what she's talking about." I kind of understand because I've been around IT, so I know kind of what you're talking about. But you're very intelligent, and I know, regardless of the fact that you're a woman, that doesn't matter. But this question is regard to imposter syndrome. So, Miss Keisha, have you experienced that? Uh, because you got 20 years experience, but is there anywhere in your experience as a web designer where you felt like an imposter?
I did. Yes, definitely. Definitely experienced imposter syndrome, uh, where I felt like I was just, you know, not, because I taught myself. So I felt like
Hmm.
I didn't know as much as a lot of other the experienced people, people that went to school for this. So I did. I beat myself up a lot. And of course my just my personality, because I'm very,
Hmm.
very introverted and very, I don't
Yes.
like, come out my shell too often. Um, so yes,
Yes.
I struggled with that a lot, and it's amazing because just the way God works.
Hmm.
Because I did struggle. I struggled hard with that. But one day I had gotten, I'm working from home, and you're always trying to find ways to kind of bring extra income in. So one day my neighbor, my cousin was saying that his neighbor was looking for somebody that knew about web design and things like that. So I was like, well, I can call him and see what this is all about. And so when I called him, they was like, well, yeah, you have all this experience. We want to see if you're if you would like to be a teacher. And I'm like, oh, a teacher, what? I'm like, I never considered teaching, but they were in need of a multimedia instructor for a trade school. And so I was like, oh my gosh. So I felt very inadequate.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel like but when I went to the interview, they hired me. And so it's funny because all of the things that I would have learned in school, had I gone to school, here I am. She's handing me all these books, you know, uh, to teach the class something that I taught myself. So the things that I taught myself, I'm thinking, uh, I don't know the real term for that, or the expert term for that. I just learned it from trial and error. Well, here I am. She's handing me all these books that I would have had to pay for if I had have gone to school for this. But now I'm getting paid to read the books and learn, and so I could teach somebody else. Um, so I had to teach video production. I had no clue what that was. So I had to learn it, read the books and learn it so I could teach it, and all while getting paid. So it was, so I was like, thank you, Jesus. But that kind of helped boosted me, because what it did is I realized that I wasn't too far off, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, I know this stuff, I
Yeah.
just, now I know the expert term for it, or the you know, I forgot what word I'm trying to use, but I know the expert, lingo on how, this, what I've been doing all along. So that kind of helped with that imposter syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
kind of boosted my confidence a
All
bit.
right.
So yeah, and that was that. Every now and then it tries to come back, but
Yeah. Kick it, and beat it down. That's
yeah.
it. Oh, that's an amazing story there, and like we talked on the show, like all of us have dealt with that, but it's just amazing how it just tries to show its head
Hmm.
on us, and like for yourself, you you have, of course, you got a degree, but you self taught, but still you have the experience, and you know the stuff. So wow, okay, well that's amazing. I'm glad you shared that information with us. Okay, so tell those that are watching, or tell the people, or I want to get to like some of the services that you offer, which I know you kind of, I guess we kind of touched on it, but uh, or how tell the audience like some of the services that you offer for businesses and branding and all of that good stuff.
Okay. What I do offer web development, branding, logo design, and web maintenance. So if you don't have time to keep up with your website to make sure that it is working properly, I do have what I call web care packages that you could purchase, and then we'll make sure that your site is in top notch order. We do monthly checks to make sure everything is running smoothly.
Mm,
I offer graphic design, so business cards, logos, flyers, t-shirt design, whatever, anything under the
yes.
landscape of graphic design, I do offer it. and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So she does logos, she does of course web design, web development, web maintenance, which is very key because I'm gonna be honest, I got a website, but I don't like making updates. I don't like going back looking at it. So, if you like me, I need to call Keisha too.
Yep. I'll get you right.
She gonna set us straight. That is good information. Okay, so Keisha, tell us some of the work that you've done that you are most proud of. Just some of the work. I know you've done quite a bit of sites, but tell us maybe a few some of the work that
Okay.
you've done.
Um, so a recent site that I'm pretty proud of and I'm excited about would be, and this is a shout out to Antonio Oliver, his website, Casual Churchwear,
Okay.
um, is a site that I'm proud of. So I also helped him design some of the t-shirt designs on there as well. Uh, but that one is one that I am proud of. And also, A Plus Fitness is another one that I've just kind of recently finished. Still kind of working it out a little bit. So it's not totally live, but it is live. She's a fitness coach.
Okay.
So that was a pretty fun project. We did a website, logo design um, for her, and then, built her website. And I also, of course, my church website, Full Gospel Holy Temple. So I do um, keep that
Hmm.
website up, and I designed it. We're actually in the process of a redesign. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Look at that. I'm sure a lot of people didn't know that Keisha designed the FGHT website. Man, that is some serious work, but that's an amazing site. I mean, just looking at it. Of course, you did your sister's website.
I
I,
did.
I thought
Yes.
that was a great site too.
Yes.
Faith and
Yes.
Works. That was awesome. That's an
Hmm.
amazing website. So you do some great work. I mean,
Thank
so for
you.
those that, hey, if you're in need of a website, maybe if you, I don't know, maybe somebody needs some consulting. You definitely need to get in contact with Keisha. I want to throw in some of these comments. Angela Walton, she said that really good information, Keisha.
Thank you.
And when you were talking about testing, Shay Coleman said beta testing is good.
Hmm.
Brother CJ, thank you for joining too. He says, God bless you both. And my wife says, this is amazing information, Keisha. Thank you for these nuggets.
You're
That is
welcome.
some great information. Okay, so now we are up to some surprise questions, Keisha. All right. So your first surprise question. Okay, so out of all of your sisters, who was the talker of the family or the one that caused the most trouble?
I think we all can answer that one. That's Krista. Definitely.
What?
She was definitely the talker. She caused the most trouble.
No way. Say it ain't so. Okay. Well, maybe some are not surprised about that, but all right. We're gonna move on to the next question. Okay, so what would be a dream project that you would like to be a part of?
um, because I'm trying to venture more into the UX and UI aspect of it. Um, I would like to be a part of or do, work on maybe some type of app. You know,
Hmm.
that's one of my next projects. So I would love to be doing as building an app.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. Last surprise question. Team iPhone or team Samsung?
Absolutely, with joy. I love my Samsung. I have a Note, and I
Mm,
really like it.
mm.
So I am definitely Team Samsung.
Oh, Keisha's team Samsung. All right. So there y'all have it. Those of you that have a problem with that, you got to go talk to Keisha. Hey, she may be able to design your website, and y'all don't have to butt heads. Who was it? Somebody said Samsung. Shay said Samsung, and then Tasha says, "Oh, Keisha."
I love it. I love my notes.
Yeah, hey, everybody loves what they love, so we're gonna leave it at that. All right. So, if you could, almost about to wrap this up, if you could offer advice to impact change to the world, what would that advice be?
Is to trust God's process, trust the path that He has you on. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, because that's what I had to do. Looking back on just everything that I went through to get to this point, um, while I was in it, I didn't see it, but looking back on it, I see how everything connected. So I would definitely say to trust God's process because He has the view that we don't have,
That's
and
true.
um, He sees all and He knows all. So that would be my advice.
Awesome. Excellent advice. I'm sure we all can relate. And I'm sure in your days of working at Foley's, you see how trusting God has really paid off and you stayed with it. Awesome. Well, all right, Miss Keisha. So how can maybe somebody wants a website? Maybe they just got questions. Maybe I don't know. They want to get in contact with you. How can somebody get in contact with you to
So
take that next step?
okay, they can visit my website. kdesigns.net. Do have, you can fill out the form that's on there. Tell me, what exactly you need uh, on there, and I will get back with you. Um, that's really the best way to contact me is through the website. Just
Okay.
filling out the form, the contact form, because it asks everything I need to know to kind of get started, and then I'll contact you from there.
All right. Awesome. Wonderful and a good and amazing stuff that you have shared with us today. I want to say I do appreciate you, Miss Keisha, for taking the old time out to be here today to share all of
No
this great
problem. Thank
information.
you for having me.
No, yes, this was good. This is great, and I know we probably didn't touch the half of everything, or we didn't go
Mhm.
into depth of all of that. So, who knows? Maybe down the road we can have you back and you can share maybe something in detail, some more information in detail. But I want to say thank you again for being here today. I want to say thank you to all of those that are watching and who have joined us on this live. We certainly appreciate you all being here. And again, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, go ahead and like this video, share this video. Also, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And hey, if you need a website, reach out to Ms. Keisha. I'm going to definitely put her information in the details of this video as well. And so you can reach out to her from there as well. So thank you, Miss Keisha. And ladies and gentlemen, the great LaKisha Walton. All right. Well, that's it. I want to say again, thank y'all for joining us today. Keisha, you hang on and we'll chat after we end this. But I'm say thank y'all again for joining. Appreciate you joining us on this Monday night. Y'all have a great evening. Hey, go out there and create some great content. We'll see you all in the next video.